Welcome in, everyone, to episode 35 of the Meme Streams 32 Teams podcast. We are back again with another division review. I'm Justin,
Medi.
and a little scuffed on this one again. Eddie is on vacation. I join him on vacation tomorrow, so we thought we should still bump out the episode despite being on vacation.
No reason not to.
Exactly. So if the mic quality on Eddie's end is a little different, just
My
for the
fault.
episode, it'll be fine. But I think we should jump right into it. Aaron Rodgers, he's back.
He's back.
I guess. I don't think that's pretty much it. He's back. They said that
one last dance.
They said that it is going to be. They're trying to restructure his contract to basically help him out the door at the end of the season.
I don't really understand what that means. I guess it's easier to offload him after this season, I guess.
I'm sure they're going to try and figure out a way to move money around so they don't have to pay him too much next season. But who knows? I mean, one last season, which then this also means that Davante Adams wants to come back. But let me ask you.
For this season.
Yeah, do you think Davante Adams only comes back for a season and then leaves?
Yes. I don't think he plays after the season either. Just because, mostly because you saw the Instagram posts that him and Davante Adams shared of the Michael Jordan One Last Dance.
Yep.
So that leads me to believe that this is it for both of them.
Do you think that they move together wherever they go next? Do you think they go together?
That would be preferred for them and whoever has the option to get both of them, but that would be a tall order. That's going to be a bag for somebody.
Do you think that they both end up in Denver next year?
Denver or somewhere else that's struggling like
or
that.
Las Vegas gets rid of Carr and they bring Rodgers and Adams?
It'd be tough to see Las Vegas split with David Carr or Derek Carr, but it wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking Denver for sure is probably the number one landing spot for both of them if they're going as a package deal. Denver, Houston would be a long shot, but I wouldn't rule it out depending on what happens with this whole Deshaun Watson thing.
Let's keep in mind too, there's a lot of teams that drafted quarterbacks this season.
Yeah.
So Chicago's an option, Jacksonville, the Jets. They obviously they drafted people high, but if Trevor Lawrence comes in and he's awful,
not who we think he's going to be or who they thought he was going to be,
why would they stick with him? I don't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. We
see teams stick with Bus because they don't have another option.
I mean, there is an option that everyone knows now. This is the moment now that everyone knows that Aaron Rodgers will be a free agent, or not technically, I guess, a free agent. He'll be
available.
Yeah, he'll be available at the end of the season.
But at what point do you start saying? Because for some of these teams like Jacksonville that just drafted their quarterback, do you think they just go out right now and say, "All right, we're going to plan to get Aaron Rodgers after this"? Sorry, Trevor. At what point does Jacksonville say, "All right, Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be our guy moving forward. How can we work on restructuring, moving money around, whatever, to try to get him in here?"
I mean, if they go 6 games and he's 0-6 and he's thrown 2 touchdowns, I mean,
you start. Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, if he comes out and they're 2-4 and he's got 10 to 15 touchdowns, I mean, I
don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. So
that's enough to show that, hey, he actually can do something.
I think a team that I just thought of that could be a little surprising is Carolina at the end of the season. I know they traded for Sam Darnold. We did that when we talked about it weeks ago. Sam Darnold.
But it's kind of the same situation. Is he going to be our guy? 6 games in, we'll see where we're at.
What did they get him for? A piece of paper and a wet napkin?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
They paid nothing. They
didn't spend much on him.
So
it'll be interesting to see because we won't really know anything. Obviously, nobody's looking at getting him now before the trade deadline. Sounds like he's going to stay in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. So I guess we might see some of those, the little fun, oh, it'd be really nice to see this happen because, say, again, we never wish for this to happen, but say Tannehill gets hurt halfway through the season, he's out for the season before the trade deadline. Or for any team that has something like that happen, well, they could do this. They have the money to do this, and if they send this player over there, they could possibly snag Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the season. Don't think anything like that's going to happen either. I think it's going to be a full season for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
I'm sure he's going to go out and, I mean, like, Aaron Rodgers has nothing to prove in a sense, right? Like,
No.
he has nothing to prove, but for him to basically continue to say, I have, gas left in the tank, I think he has to come out and win at least 10 to 12 games, which
he's the reigning MVP. He's got to do everything he can to match
he wouldn't. I'm just saying he needs to me. Because like if he shows regression, it's going to be a little different for who goes after him.
Well, it's the same thing we were saying last week. How, after coming off of a big season like this, like I don't remember who we were talking about specifically last week, but how does Aaron Rodgers do better than an MVP season? No matter what happens, it's going to look worse in comparison to last year, unless he repeats an MVP season and wins Super Bowl.
That's fair.
So I think we're going to see regression in the sense of it's not as good as last year.
That's a fair point. But when we were talking about Trevor Lawrence, we should just jump straight into the point of this episode, which is the AFC South division in review. We're going to start with the wonderful Jacksonville Jaguars. Since everyone
number one pick overall
likes to tell me it's not a Jaguar. Apologies. But I don't know, man. This team needed a lot. A lot.
They got a lot. They've done a lot in the offseason. I don't know if they did the right things in the offseason, but they got a lot of people between the draft and there are a couple free agency pickups.
Let me ask you. I feel like we've talked about this before when the signing actually happened, but Tebow. Is Tebow being signed as a motivational speaker, or is he being signed as an actual NFL tight end?
I think he's being signed as a comfort piece for Urban Meyer. A little bit of familiarity.
That's fair. The thing is, just thinking about Tebow playing
it's weird.
Confuses me. And then the part that he will be catching passes and blocking, like it just.
It's weird.
I don't like it. Okay, I just don't like it.
I mean, we said it. We probably said it either whenever the signing happened or in weeks past that more than likely we're gonna see him throw a pass within the first 2 weeks.
I would say I wouldn't be shocked if it happens week 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if there's betting odds about will Tebow throw a pass before like week 4 or something.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Because if there is, I want to put money on it.
I feel like that would definitely be a prop somewhere. It's going to be something that Barstool's got out.
And one thing that a lot of teams did in this last draft that I pointed out last week were drafting comfort picks for other players already on their team. So like the second pick that the Jags took was Travis. I'm not even going to try and say his last name. But the running back from Clemson. Obviously, he played with Trevor Lawrence. They know each other well. It's something that I haven't really thought about teams doing until this past draft. With like Devonta Smith meeting back up with Jalen Hurts and Jamar Chase meeting back up with Joe Burrow. Like these little things that a lot of people are overlooking, I would say, the chemistry that the two players can provide. Because with Trevor Lawrence and Travis, like there should be 0 miss handoffs.
Yeah, they should already have that down pat. They've had a whole season minimum. I don't know how long they were both in that position together, but minimum 1 season, probably 2, maybe 3 seasons together of already doing this. So yeah, I agree. They should have minimal mistakes between them two. With any interaction between them two, there should be minimal, if not 0 mistakes.
Which I feel like for a rookie quarterback miss handoffs and miss timing is a big issue.
Yes.
So to basically shore up, as long as he's on the field, if someone else is on the field, there is a chance.
Yeah, that chance goes up.
But I think if both of them are on the field and it is a standard run handoff, I see no issues with the ball getting into the running back's hands. Now,
Yeah.
what happens from there, who knows, right?
Before we get, we're still on the subject of the Jaguars. Real quick, I did not find anything on Tim Tebow for betting other than he is up for comeback player of the year.
I mean, I'm biased, but comeback player of the year is most likely to end up being Dak.
Yeah, that's my guy. That'd be my pick for sure.
You know what I mean? Like I'm biased,
As long
but
as
he like
if
basically
he
lost a
has,
leg and came back with a new leg.
Yeah. But if you want to put money on that, it's 20-1
for Tebow.
For Tebow.
No thanks. I'm good. I'll pass. I'll keep my money.
Yeah, but no, the Jaguars. They are about the only team that I don't have any expectations for. New coach, new quarterback, new running back.
It's not just like new. It's brand new to the NFL new.
Yeah, brand new quarterback, brand new running back, brand new head coach.
Jets coach is a new coach, but he's been in the NFL, so it's different. Where like Urban Meyer,
he's been running college for the last 2 decades.
This is his real shot, and unfortunately, I say unfortunately, he has a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back. Like,
yeah, but he was a part of that. He was a part of making that decision that yes, I want Trevor Lawrence. I think part of that comes from we have the number 1 overall pick. We better not waste it.
Yeah, but
kind of thing though.
If you don't take Trevor Lawrence, what you take?
They had Gardner Minshew,
who, by the way, for anyone who's curious, has not gone to the restroom number 2 for 2 weeks because being number 2 is not an option to him.
He's fighting for that starting position.
I don't blame him.
More power to him.
I don't blame him, but like, what do you do in that situation, right? You show up, you're like, I'm gonna be the starting quarterback next season, probably, and then you think, well, they're probably gonna draft Trevor Lawrence. Do they bench the number 1 guy in favor of the guy who has barely played a season? Like,
I mean, you got to give Trevor Lawrence a chance. You invested the number 1 pick in the NFL. You know how valuable that pick is. They could have traded it to somebody else and gotten 3 or 4 or 5 picks, if not somebody and picks. That's the most valuable pick in the draft. So the fact that they chose Trevor Lawrence with that, you got to expect that they're going to use him. And if they play him for a game or 2 and he's just not that guy, he's not who they were hoping he is, bench him. See what Gardner Minshew can do until Trevor Lawrence can either get his confidence back, figure out what's wrong, whatever the case may be. But if I'm Gardner Minshew, I'm sitting here thinking, in the most respectful way possible, whenever he trips, I'm going to be the one to fill that spot.
I mean, I guess the nice is a very vague term in this situation. I can't think of another.
So I said respectfully,
The nice thing is that the rookie, there's a chance, I would say a higher chance than most people. There's a higher chance that he will fail.
Because he is a rookie, yes.
Correct. So the chances of Gardner getting to play and basically show up on game day and say, this is my job to keep, is much higher than, let's say, he was behind Aaron Rodgers. Like Jordan Love, not touching the field.
Yeah, Jordan Love has to expect that he will not get any downs this year unless it's garbage time or Aaron Rodgers is not on the field for some reason.
So, like, in that situation, you just have to sit and watch. But in this situation, Gardner just has to stay ready. That I believe, because I think Zach Wilson will perform better than Trevor Lawrence, that Gardner just needs to stay ready for when Trevor Lawrence fails and gets pulled.
Unfortunately, and as terrible as that is to think of about another teammate like that, that's the mentality he's got to have. It really is.
I mean, I guess from his perspective, it would be, if he fails, I'll be ready.
Right, but I'm going from
That's the
kind of like
media talk.
the same way that Dak became who he was in the NFL. The opportunity rose up whenever Romo got hurt. Dak filled the spot and excelled in it. Minshew's got to do the same thing to have a chance at this point.
I miss Dad.
Whatever that opportunity is, you miss Dad.
I miss Dad. He golfs now. Yeah, I don't know.
But that's the situation for him.
It feels like I hate talking about the Jags like this because it makes it come across as like the only thing that matters in this team, Trevor Lawrence. Everything else doesn't matter. But like,
well, it's hard not to put your focus on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't. The thing with the Jags is like I just don't know where else to shift a focus, right? Like it's the only talking point that I can think of. Trevor Lawrence versus Gardner Minshew. Them drafting the running back Travis, Urban Meyer, and then Tim Tebow.
Yeah, those are the. I guess we could say those are the more fun topics to talk about, but they really are like the biggest questions that the Jaguars have. Is Trevor Lawrence going to be their guy? Is Urban Meyer going to be their guy? If Trevor Lawrence is not, do you put all your stock back in Gardner Minshew? And also Tim Tebow's here.
So, I mean, yeah, he's just kind of there. The first play that he steps on the field, I'm gonna just be confused. I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it.
What do you think the reaction, positive or negative, is going to be whenever Tim Tebow steps on the field? Because their first game is at Houston, so we'll say whenever Denver comes to town.
Let's think. Are they going to be clapping for Trevor Lawrence or Tim Tebow?
You think Tim Tebow plays play one? Plays first down?
I think if he makes the roster, he is going to play a lot. I don't think Tebow's on the roster if he's going to play like 7 downs a game.
If he's the blocking tight end.
He's going to be that tight end who he's big enough to block.
Oh, yeah.
He's smart enough to play a catching tight end, I think. I don't know.
I mean, whenever he was originally brought into the NFL, the Patriots tried to get him to be a tight end.
Yep.
And he wanted to try to stick with the quarterback thing, and we saw what happened with that. But now he's got his rebirth here. I don't see why he wouldn't try to do everything in his power to stay in the NFL. That was his first love.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think Tebow will play like 40 downs a game.
So majority of their plays.
He will be their one. He'll probably be their number 1 tight end, in my opinion. If he doesn't start there, he will end up as their number 1 tight end. For him, he's number 1 tight end or he's off the roster. There's no.
Who's their other tight end? Higbee?
It's a good question. I have no idea. But I think to me, it's one or the other.
Tebow's the only name I know on their tight ends.
Let's take a look. Their tight ends are
Chris Manhertz, James O'Shaughnessy, Luke Farrell,
James O'Shaq Hennessy. Sorry.
O'Shaq Hennessy.
Team Peel, my bad.
We're done talking about AA, Ron.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see what the Jags do. I don't have, like you said,
who these other guys are.
I don't have high hopes for this roster, unfortunately. They are trending in the right direction if Trevor Lawrence is a reasonable quarterback, but if he's not, then it's going to be another top 5 pick for them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they were a top 5 pick anyways with Trevor Lawrence.
So here's a scary thing for the Jaguars, talking about their tight end core. Last season, all 4 of their tight ends on their depth chart, they have a combined 34 receptions and no touchdowns for the last season.
Tebow's gonna be number 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think we should jump to the team that I think is at the opposite side of this division.
One more question on the Jaguars.
Oh, yep.
Going through their schedule real quick. ±7 wins.
I'm not even gonna look minus.
That's what I was thinking too.
I think minus, the only way it's plus, it all relies on Trevor Lawrence. And if Trevor Lawrence is the next coming of Tom Brady, then they hit more than 7.
So going off of that, that's a no to playoffs too. Then.
Oh, 100%. This
Yeah.
team does not make playoffs.
Agreed. They're trending in the right direction. They're not there yet.
No, they're like, I would say 2 to 3 seasons out after this one from making playoffs.
Yeah.
I guess if we count this one, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But the team
yeah.
that I think is definitely going to make playoffs is
There's
the
2
Tennessee
of them
Titans.
for me. Okay, yeah.
They take a big hit in losing Jonnu Smith on offense. Their tight ends are now pretty much, I feel bad saying it, but pretty much no names like the Jags, except for Tebow. He's in his own world.
Again, I don't know. I know Fursker. I've heard the name, but I couldn't tell you the rest of these guys.
Like, I don't know.
Do you really? Okay, well, looking at everybody, the rest of the weapons they have, do you really need a tight end to catch a ball that often?
The answer
Whenever
is
you've got
no.
Derrick Henry and AJ Brown and Julio Jones.
The answer is no. They don't need one, but it does not hurt to have one. That's
for sure.
That's the point. Like, if Jonnu Smith was still on this roster, good luck stopping this team. I mean, good luck stopping this team anyways. But then just like adding another weapon on top of Henry, Jones, Brown, like just stop.
How first of all, how do you stop Derrick Henry from getting another 1,500, if not more than that, yard season? He broke 2K last year, and they've got one extra game this year.
He might as well just break the record. Like, just give it to him.
Oh, 100%.
Just let him break it. Everyone just, if you're already losing, just let him run. Okay?
just be on the right side of history.
So, I don't know. I think their offense is like set. And then drafting Dylan Radunz from North Dakota State, a D2 school. We know Eddie's opinion on D2 players playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. Offensive linemen, their job is very difficult, so I don't want to take away from what they do.
No, they're...
But out of
without
a lot of positions, I would say an offensive lineman might be one of the most transferable from college to the NFL.
Yeah, because
all you have to do in a sense is just get them stronger and faster on their feet.
Exactly. At the end of the day, they're still doing the same thing they were doing in college that they will be doing in the NFL. It's just against stronger and faster guys.
So if you get their feet work much quicker and much more efficient.
I'm sorry, their feet work?
Their footwork. Thank you. My mind is, I've been having to do like 13 things today while I try to get ready for the trip tomorrow.
Yeah, you're good.
So their footwork, if you get it more efficient, then you get them stronger. Like they become unstoppable, right? Like they literally just, it's a wall.
Yeah.
So I think the Dylan pick is smart. It's the right decision. Let's make.
If you're gonna pick a D2 guy, I'm okay with an offensive lineman being a D2 guy. A quarterback or wide receiver or somebody who's going to put points on the board, that's where I get a little bit scared because the competition in D2 is not what it is in D1. There's a big step to D1, and then there's an even bigger step from D1 to the NFL.
You're telling me that Dylan isn't going to score a touchdown this season? How could you?
Hell, more power to him. I hope he does. We love seeing the big men score.
The one thing that I think that the Titans did, which is really smart, is they lost 2 cornerbacks, Malcolm Butler and Dory Jackson, right? 2 solid cornerbacks, 1, 2, perfect. Lost them both. They pick up Janoris Jenkins, who is a veteran. I would say probably number 2 at this point. And then you draft a true number 1 cornerback in Caleb Farley. It's like, in a sense, it's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like they just let 2 go.
They dropped 2. They dropped 2, got their veteran, and they drafted 2.
So, like, they had a very smart offseason. Obviously, losing Jonnu Smith really sucks. They actually had, like, their key departures are big hits. Corey Davis, Malcolm Butler, Dory Jackson, Kenny Vaccaro, and Jonnu Smith. Like, those are...
They lost. Yeah, all of them
talent.
hurt to lose.
That is some big talent off the board.
But they made the right moves to replace them. They made the right moves to replace that production or the defense, however you want to word defense production. I guess it'd still be production.
Yep.
But they made the right moves.
The biggest one that they did not try and fix would be Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
But when you, like you said, when you take Julio Jones, who needs a tight end?
And they added Des Fitzpatrick out of Louisville and Racey McMath from LSU. So it's not like they're losing that production. They just don't have that. I don't want to say they don't have the red zone threat from the tight end, because you do have Derrick Henry and you do have Julio Jones and you do have A.J. Brown. You have all these other guys that can make something happen. Well, we know Julio's history in the red zone.
I mean, maybe with a new offense,
maybe with the new offense and actually having a running back.
Yeah. I mean, Julio has he ever played on a team that had a true running back like Derrick Henry? I mean, no one's like Derrick Henry, but
not like Derrick Henry. We had. He wasn't there for work done. I mean, why am I blanking? Thank you.
Freeman would have been. I mean, what, in his first 2-ish seasons when he was
first couple seasons, yeah, and then Tevin Coleman for a season after that, which he didn't do anything whenever he was finally running back one. So no, he really hasn't had that weapon, but he was surrounded by Mohamed Sanu, Calvin Ridley in the same season. He was with Roddy White and Tony Gonzalez in the same season.
The receiving core has never been an issue for
Julio Jones. But now he's got that extra element.
Now he has
I feel like I'd rather have an actual running back over another Pro Bowl level, All-Star level wide receiver. I'd much rather take one running back, one wide receiver over two wide receivers.
I agree. Because in a sense, you're putting all your eggs in one basket, which is very dangerous.
Yeah. And now you're talking about that one running back is Derrick Henry,
who is, I swear,
easily
a
top 3, if not the number one. Yeah.
Anytime I see him run, he's okay. The thing about Derrick Henry that terrifies me, right? There's multiple things. One, it's a picture of him standing next to Mark Ingram, which does not look real. Two, that man is so giant, and you think, oh, he'll run someone over, and he does, and he stiff arm someone, and you're like, that's terrifying, but he's probably not that fast. And then you see him hit the open space, and then he's just gone.
He turns the jets on, and then you realize all that just happened in a 7-second span.
Where he looks so slow, right? The first 15 yards of his run, you're like, oh, he surely can't.
Yeah, you're not stopping him in open field.
Oh, he's gone.
The only way I see. Have you seen his legs that are the size of a horse?
I have not, to be honest. I don't really look up guys' legs. I'll be honest with you.
You should.
I mean, the only one would be Saquon, but that's just because when he got drafted, that's all anyone talked about. Nothing else about his skill. They were like, dude, look at his quads. And you're like,
but no, he's just got, Derrick Henry just has full-on brute strength. He may not have the biggest legs, but I don't think I've seen more muscle on a leg.
Dude, Derrick Henry terrifies me.
Yeah, he's strong.
This team,
and he's going to be a menace again this year.
Yeah,
there's no reason he shouldn't be.
Let's do this. 1,800 yards.
More.
Okay, all right. I was going to say over or under, but you answered my question.
Yeah, no. I would be surprised if he did not break 2,000 yards because of the extra game this year. That's 120 yards a game?
It's 17 games. 2,000 divided by 17, it's 117.6. So we'll say 120.
Yeah.
And that's what, 2 runs? He's got it. He usually breaks for 60 to 70, 7 games, 8 games a season.
Yeah. So I would not be surprised. I'm going to go over 2,000. But I also would not be surprised if he breaks the rushing record, which I believe is Eric Dickerson at 2,100.
I have a feeling that is incorrect.
Most rushing yards in a season.
You are correct.
Eric Dickerson, 2,105. 84? It hasn't been broken since then? Wow.
I mean,
I thought LaDainian Thompson broke it, but I guess not.
No,
would have gotten close.
I think he has the most rushing touchdowns.
And
Emmitt Smith has the most rushing yards overall. unless that was
Okay.
broken. But he was the last person that I can remember off the top of my head that broke that record. But Titans, I'm going to say
It's gonna be a
over
big
or
number.
under 11.
Oh, I was gonna go over 10. 11.
So
Yes.
they either go 12-5 or better, or I guess I'll do a half number like the betting do. We'll do 10 and a
I'll,
half over under.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go over. I think they win the division with at least 12.
I don't really know like what stops this team. I think I know it's going to sound really dumb when I say this, but it's just going to be a team that can score more points than them.
Thank you, John Madden.
Which sounds really dumb, but like the Jaguars aren't going to come in and put up 50 on the Titans, right? Like
No.
that's not going to happen. So like
No, the only teams on their roster that are going to give them trouble this year are probably going to be the Colts because the Colts aren't half bad, and division game, Buffalo, and the Chiefs. Those are the only games I see them somewhat struggling in. Maybe Seattle.
a sleeper team in their lineup is LA. The Stafford-led Rams.
Yeah.
Something about Stafford, man, on a team that actually should know what they're doing. I don't know, I'm a little terrified.
Should know what they're doing. Sean McVay, right?
Yes. I
Yeah,
didn't think if that
so.
was even a real person for a second when you said that. I was like, you're just not making up names. Like, that's not how this works.
I like this. I like the Titans team. I hate that Julio's one of them, but that's what he wanted. He's happier there,
But
so
see,
all more power to
as
him.
much as you're mad that he went there, like, to me, the thing about the Titans is, like, they don't give you a reason to dislike them.
No, I mean,
There's
we've been
nothing
saying
about
that.
the Titans that I dislike. Nothing. Nothing I can think of.
No, there really isn't.
Like,
I mean, if I had to nitpick, it's because they stole Julio Jones from us, but he wanted out, so it's not like I can even get mad at them for that. That was not a Titans choice. That was a Julio choice.
it's like division opponents, right? Like, you don't like the Saints. I don't like the Giants. Like, that happens, right? It's our division opponents. I don't like the Patriots. They won too many. I don't like the Bucks. They have Tom Brady. See? Real easy. The Titans,
Titans are just kind of there.
in a sense, yes.
Up until the last couple years, they've been rather run of the mill quiet. They'd be fighting for the wild card spot.
They are just merely existing in this world that we call the NFL.
They're just vibing.
Yeah, pretty much. But to the team that I think has the most question marks leading into the season, it's the Houston Texans. Again, we're not going to diverge into all the off the field situation. Just that I will say that if he's convicted one time, done, out of the league.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
That's what we'll say about Deshaun Watson. But I don't think he shows up. Like, he says he's gonna report, but
that time is coming up. Within this week or so, is it not?
Do you think the Texans allow him to show up?
I feel like the Texans don't have a choice.
They do have a choice. Do you think they make the choice? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Because
that is a much better way to put it.
They definitely have the choice to say, no, we don't want that environment in our organization. So the question is, are they going to?
I don't think they will.
Unfortunately, I agree. I don't think they will. I think they will.
If he wants to show up, he will. And I don't think anyone's going to stop him.
Unfortunately, for the situation, he is their best quarterback.
They did draft a quarterback 3rd round, which I think this is officially the end of the Bill O'Brien era after this, because you notice they did not have a 1st round or 2nd round pick. Their first pick was pick 67 in the draft.
They had 5 picks in the entire draft.
They only had 5 picks in this draft.
2/3, 2 5s, and a 6th.
So I don't know how much is left of Bill O'Brien's leadership, I guess, is the best way to put it.
The worst part about this team, though, like, Worst being number 2 to that situation. I'll make that clear. Number 2, the worst part of this is that you're like, cool, new environment. Let's build the team camaraderie. And J.J. Watt walks out the door.
Yeah. And then DeAndre Hopkins is gone.
Who do they have right now that you can look at this team and go, that's their guy. That's the captain. That's the guy who's going to bring him back. There's no one.
I mean, it would be Deshaun Watson, but we don't know that he's going to be there. Tyrod Taylor, I guess.
I don't see anyone on this roster like
offense or defense.
Cool, they got their offense too makes no sense. Look,
no, it really doesn't.
I want you right now. I want you to read me. You have their depth chart open?
Yeah, you're looking the same thing I am.
I want you to read me the 4 names that are under running back. Read me those names out loud. Go ahead.
David Johnson, Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, and Rex Burkhead.
It's like
who I didn't know Rex Burkhead was still playing.
It's like they just kept seeing running backs that have been relevant, and they're like, we'll get them all.
You know what this feels like? This feels like a fantasy football team of somebody who doesn't pay attention to what's actually going on in the league. They just grab people that they've heard their name before at any point in time.
Dude, and then they have Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb. And Kiki Kuti. Like, they have weapons.
They have a whole bunch of players who were really good at one time, but they peaked more than 2 or 3 years ago.
Like, Brandon Cooks
David
hasn't
Johnson,
been good since.
It's been a minute since he was on the Saints.
Randall Cobb in Dallas played really well. I wouldn't say his peak. He definitely peaked when he was with Rodgers in Green Bay. David Johnson hasn't really been relevant since Arizona, and that was not even his last 2 seasons in Arizona.
I was gonna say, that was 4 or 5 years ago, was it not?
Philip Lindsay had a good rookie season when he split carries with someone whose name I cannot remember on the Broncos.
Oh God.
Mark Ingram is on his downtrend.
Has been.
Rex Burkhead is a pass-catching running back who is way on his way down.
That's why I didn't know he was still in the league. I didn't know he was still in the league. Last I heard of him, he won. I think he was on the Super Bowl team in 2016.
He was on the Patriots for a while.
Yeah. So this whole roster, and then as of right now, what we're thinking, Tyrod Taylor is their quarterback. I know you're not supposed to do this, but if there is a team in the league that needs to just tank and restart, it's the Texans.
Do you know off the top of your head? I need to keep up with college football more. Do you know if there is a top quarterback prospect off the top of your head? I feel like you're looking at a top quarterback prospect who's coming out of college.
Georgia's quarterback, who I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Georgia's quarterback, I believe, is a junior this year, and he is if not number 1, he's top 3 in the nation right now, who will be entering the draft.
Okay, that guy already joined the draft.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's came out and announced it because he's a junior this year. I think. I'm going to look it up.
The first name that came to my head, he's already been drafted, was Jake Fromm.
Yeah, he came last year, or 2 years ago. I'm double checking now about this, but I'm pretty sure there are a few names that will for sure be in the upcoming draft, or this next year's draft for sure. For whatever reason, the past couple years, there has been a lot of quarterbacks come in the league over the last 4 or 5 years. Not all of them are still doing something, but there's been a lot of red hot names come into the league.
I feel like being a quarterback, it's got to be it's stressful being a quarterback because you're the guy who starts all the offensive plays, etc. But I mean more pressure is even given to you because if you don't perform well, they will just go get another one.
Yeah, JT Daniels is the Georgia guy.
Okay,
he's a junior this year.
just to let you know, I just looked at Twitter. Xavier Howard, a defensive back for the Dolphins, he just came out and said that this is the quote at the very bottom of his post. Until that trade happens, I am just here so I don't get fined and will handle myself like professionals do. Basically, he wanted to restructure his contract, and they came to him and said, here's a brand new contract. And he was like, I just want to restructure it. And they're like, well, this is the only offer you're getting. And he was like, well, I just want to restructure the current contract.
In his position, I kind of understand it because he is yet to make the money like some of these other guys have.
So,
and he wants to keep playing, and obviously he wants to keep playing what sounds like for the Dolphins.
It says, speaking of that, it literally says, in 2018, I signed an extension that I'll admit I didn't completely understand or feel comfortable with. I've played on that deal for 2 seasons and didn't complain, but everyone knows I significantly outperformed that deal. I mean, he's not wrong. Xavier Howard is mind-blowing as a cornerback. So that's big news. So
that's a big hit if that doesn't come through.
So we'll see where, I mean, either I think it's kind of crazy, as I know this is kind of a sidetracked, but like players are starting to understand that to an extent they have power in terms of like, I play really well, pay me or I don't play.
Yeah. But then there comes that imbalance of, okay, we can't have 3 guys that are asking for $35 million a year, because then we only have $140 million for the other 50 guys in our roster.
Which is fair.
Yeah, and that's whenever you see the bunch of these teams saying, no, you're asking too much, go find that just stops. That starts all this friction.
So
but anyway,
back to the Texans. I don't know, man. This team.
Just wrap it up. they're a very mixed match team that suffered through the Bill O'Brien years. Had a couple good years under Bill O'Brien, but he just made terrible decision after terrible decision after terrible decision. That got them to the point they're at now.
Unfortunately for Houston fans, it is gonna take some time for this organization, because this isn't just an organization that needs better players. It's a whole structural thing from the GM down that needs to get fixed.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, they made a good move getting Bill O'Brien out of there.
Yep, I agree. And I think as much as it sucks to lose Hopkins, lose JJ Watt, obviously Hopkins didn't play the last season, but I think in the best way, it is the right move to get rid of the star players while you're trying to.
Yeah, you're just wasting their time.
Whatever this is.
You're just wasting their time. They don't want to be there. As much as you want them there, it makes no reason to keep paying them.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's what I'm saying. Same thing I said in the beginning. If there is a team that should just fully tank, it's them.
I agree.
I know you're not supposed to do that, and you're not allowed to do that. Blah 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 blah. 0-17, just go for it. Accumulate all the draft picks you can with who you have left, and just restart.
So I'm gonna ask you a different question than we've asked on the last 2 teams. I'm not gonna do an over/under in terms of their total wins. I'm gonna do an over/under in comparison to the Jaguars.
Oh, I think they do worse.
You think under?
I think, yeah, the Texans will do worse than the Jaguars this year. I think the Texans get last in the division. Which, I mean, if they're doing worse than the Jaguars, I would assume you have the same thought that I would on that.
While the weapons on the Texans are not during their peak, I do think that their weapons are better than the Jaguars team.
I agree.
I'm going to say over, but it's going to be like Jaguars 3 wins and the Texans 4. Like this isn't like a 4 versus 9. It's literally a 3-4 or 4-5, 5-6.
No, they'll be within 2 or 3 picks of each other in the draft.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just tough.
Yeah, it's tough. But on to the last team, the good old Indy Colts.
I like Indy. I like Indy a lot. I don't like them as much without Phil Rivers, but they're still a fun team. They still got a lot going on for them.
That is my biggest, and I'm sure a lot of people's biggest question mark about this team. Is Carson Wentz relevant? Or the bigger question, is he healthy?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Is he healthy, and for how long can he stay healthy?
I was
But
gonna try
again,
and guess, but like I could say 2 games and he plays the whole season, or I could say the whole season he plays 2 games.
yeah, there's not something you can predict, or that you would want to predict anyway. We hope everybody has a full season, a full healthy season. We want to see everybody at their best. That makes for good, more fun to watch football.
See, I occasionally wish injuries on players, but it's like, oh, you sprained your ankle and you can't play against the Cowboys, but you come
Yeah,
back the next game.
I hope you're out for like 2 weeks and you come back at full health.
I hope you get a cold and you miss the game.
Well, now we have a whole nother one. The whole since we're on the subject of the Colts, wasn't it? Not Ursay. One of their coaches just got the vaccine and just came out with a positive COVID test.
Which is possible.
Yeah, so now he's in quarantine and away from the team for the next 10 days or whatever it is.
Have they said if the coaching staff could affect? Because like players, right? Like unvaccinated players could be subject to fines if their positive test makes the game not happen. Do you think the staff is held to the same? I know this is kind of like a random tangent, but do you think the staff is held to the same?
I think that's going to be a organization by organization thing.
That's definitely not like a league
it should
standard, right? Like that's a team.
No.
Okay.
I think it should be across the board all the same because they are all part of the same team.
Yeah.
Then they're going to be interacting with each other. Players are going to interact with players just as much as the players are interacting with the coaches, if not more.
Very true. I mean, like,
so
who knows? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We have fans at all games, and no games are canceled.
Yeah. Regardless, though, with everything going on, since we're on the Colts, if I'm the Colts, I'm keeping T.Y. Hilton in a bubble. I'm keeping Jack Doyle in a bubble. I'm keeping Carson Wentz in a bubble-wrapped bubble.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He's going to look like the Michelin Man because he's covered in so much bubble wrap.
I'm having these players that I know I need on the field.
Honestly,
they will be on the field.
With Carson Wentz, we only really need bubble wrap around his legs.
That's true.
His upper body's been fine. Or should we preemptively bubble wrap the body so that it doesn't get injured?
Might as well play it safe.
Okay, all right.
It's not going to hurt.
If we put a red jersey on him, does he not get hit in games?
Oh, that's a good question. Is that a rule?
What if a team did that and you couldn't actually hit him? What if that's a rule in the rule book and no one's taking advantage of it?
Falcons have red jerseys. I've seen Matt Ryan get slaughtered a few times
because your whole team is red.
Oh, they can't tell who's who.
You can't not hit the entire team. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna throw a red shirt out there.
I don't know. We'll see. But I think
they are a toss up because either Carson Wentz is going to be on it this year and they're going to fight for first, or Carson Wentz is not going to be who they want and they're going to bench him and have Jacob Eason come in. I hate to put so much focus on the quarterbacks, but that's how it is. That's where every play starts.
I mean, we didn't really talk much about Tannehill in Tennessee. That's just because Derrick Henry is the size of Ryan Tannehill and a normal size running back.
Yeah, and because all you have to do is get the ball to Derrick Henry, and he'll figure out how to get minimum 7 yards. And you just have to throw it within a 15-foot radius to Julio Jones or A.J. Brown. They're going to figure out how to catch it.
Yep.
I would hope just about any NFL quarterback can do that.
The thing with the
Colts overall, go ahead.
I think they are a playoff team. To me, they're a team that is either a wild card or just right outside. Like,
Yes.
when they show like weeks 15, 16, they show the playoff picture on screen, and it's like
hmm
these are your division winners, your wild card,
They're
and then
sitting
in
there
the
at like
hunt.
ninth place.
Yep, they're the team that's either in the wild card spot or in the hunt. That's the
Yeah.
Colts spot right now. I think they're missing. I don't know what pieces, off the top of my head, but I think they're missing just like one or two things, and the team is set. And I think one of those is definitely at quarterback.
Yeah, they need a consistent quarterback. I don't care if they're a Aaron Rodgers level and consistent, or they're a Tyrod Taylor level but consistent. They need somebody who is going to consistently give them something.
I mean,
Because Carson Wentz will throw 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in week 1, and then throw 84 yards and 5 interceptions week 2.
The thing is like, while I feel like the league has been and is still trending in the way that it is very pass heavy, the Titans, I know we just talked about them, but they are a good example that you do not need to be a pass heavy team to be successful in the league.
No, they probably have. I know we're not on Titans anymore, but they probably have the best balance of any team in the league. And of course, that helps whenever you have a 2,000-yard rusher in the backfield.
So, like you saying consistency, that's why I bring up the Titans, because Tannehill is Tannehill. Tannehill knows his job and he does it. He does it.
Yeah.
Tannehill does his job so well.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Alex Smith when he was on the Chiefs. A lot of people called him a game manager. Well, that's all
Exactly.
all he had to do was manage the game.
Exactly.
I don't like when people use game manager as a negative term, because I would love a quarterback to go in and manage the game and win games for me. Isn't that what they're supposed to do? I don't.
Give me a guy that can read the situation and understand, oh, we're going to let the clock run down to 5 seconds this time, and then we're going to hand it off and get 3 or 4 yards. We're going to let the clock run down again, and then we're going to surprise them. Give me the guy that understands the situation and knows how to execute in those situations, not somebody who's going to run around frantically trying to make something happen, or is not trying to launch it to T.Y. Hilton all the way downfield every other play.
They definitely need a solid number 2 for T.Y.
Yeah.
T.Y., I mean, if you watch Colts games, I swear T.Y. Hilton, 10 of his touchdowns this season, if you go back and look at them, I could be completely wrong, but it's how it feels. There's at least 2 defenders, always, when he catches it. On at least 10 of his touchdowns each season, there's 2 guys standing near him.
Which is crazy because he's not that big of a guy.
Nope. He is not big. He is, in fact, 5'10". So he's not that big of a guy. No.
And they need to get him a number 2, and they need to get him a number 2 quick, because he won't be around too much longer.
No. T.Y. is still at his, I would say, still at the top. He is still a solid number 1 that if you give him number 2, T.Y. will win you games single-handedly.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, he's your go-to guy in every sense of the word on this team. You put all your trust in him, knowing that he is going to come down with the ball and make something happen with it. 8 out of 10 times. Find somebody that can do it 10 out of 10 times, and you're golden.
Yeah.
But there's only about 4 or 5 of those in the league.
I said that I didn't know what pieces they needed, but after talking it out, I think they need a quarterback and a number 2 wide receiver.
They need a quarterback and a number 2 wide receiver.
I think I figured it out. Their defense.
Their defense is solid. Their defense is more than solid.
I love the Colts defense. It is just
scary.
It is a very just quick and hard-hitting defense. It is. I love watching the Colts defense.
And they're young.
Yeah. I mean, I think taking Kwity Paye at 21 is a genius decision.
Yes.
Because now he's lined up. Ooh, this is terrifying. He's lined up right next to DeForest Buckner. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck stopping a whole forest.
Derrick Henry's only going to the right side.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. I would run.
That'd be what I'd do.
I would run to the right. But also at the same time, I think Derrick Henry could run to the left and still get 6 yards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
And then you got Darius Leonard,
Darius Leonard,
linebacker,
man, that guy's
and
great.
Xavier Rhodes in the back corner, Kenny Moore corner. Like just everybody on this defense brings something to the table that is just it's what you need. They have such a complete defense. This is the defense that Dan Quinn tried to make in Atlanta, and it never worked out.
The Colts are building a defense of players who know what their job is and know how to execute on said job,
And do it very well.
which is all they got to do. That's one thing I with the NFL is a lot of players. I get certain players trying to do too much, right? Like T.Y. Hilton with the Colts sort of has to try and do too much in a sense.
Yeah.
But like the Colts defense, all their players know, do your job and we'll stop them. I know it's a very dumb sentence, but some
It's
teams
harder than it seems.
just do not understand it.
It's harder than it seems
And whether
for whatever
that's
reason.
the coaching is telling them the wrong job or it's the player not executing on said job. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
It's different. It's a mix. But the Colts defense is a defense that, to me, shows up every week and does what they're supposed to do on all 11 players.
Yeah. Another side note on them, because I was going to make a comment about their kicker, just because he is following in his predecessor's footsteps until the postseason. I did not realize this, but the Colts lost to Buffalo last year in the postseason, in the playoffs.
27-24.
And their kicker missed 3 extra points.
No.
Rodrigo Blankenship missed 3 extra points.
No, they failed a 2-point conversion.
They had what I'm saying is he made 1 extra point on 4 attempts.
So I'm looking at it right now. So he kicked a field goal. They went up 3-0. Then second quarter, he kicked the extra point. They went up 10-7. And in the fourth quarter, they scored a
Am I
touchdown.
just dumb?
Might be. It might be his career in the postseason, maybe. I don't know.
No, this is 2020. It says postseason 1 made out of 4 attempts. What the heck?
Anyways, and then they went for a 2-point conversion. And their first touchdown in the fourth quarter, and they missed it. Then they went for another 2-point conversion when they scored again, and they got it. So he technically only went 1 for 1 on extra points, 1 for 2 on field goals. I don't know what you're seeing.
I'm going to send it to you because now I feel weird and we'll discuss it later.
It says 1 for 2 field goals, 1 for 1 extra points.
All right.
Wait,
I don't know. Do you see it now?
That's messed up.
Okay. Because I was going off of that. I didn't actually look at the game. So, but you see what I'm seeing where it says he made 1 out of 4 attempts. So I'm not insane. All right, we can move on.
That bothers me. I want to research that.
That's why I was looking at that. And anyway, so disregard what we said because it's bad. What I said.
Anyways,
I'm sorry.
I think it's just the offense for the Colts. The biggest
Yes,
question mark,
the defense
again,
is not a question.
Like most teams in the NFL, is Carson Wentz, the quarterback, going to show up?
And they did draft Sam Ehlinger out of Texas, who, I mean, is a Texas quarterback. Texas is back. Hear that every year.
I live in Texas, they don't do anything. Dude. I hear that every year, and I'm tired of it. It's like when people hear Cowboys fans saying, "We them boys," or "It's our year." Like, I see how annoying it is, guys. Okay, I'm not a delusional Cowboys fan, all right, but it's our year. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think the Colts.
I think we'll get there.
Carson Wentz. I believe that Carson Wentz has the talent to go back to his MVP season. He just hasn't been healthy. I
agree. He just has to stay healthy, and he has to get comfortable in a new environment.
But that is our division in review, Eddie. Last thing to wrap it up. Give me your division standings.
Titans 1, Colts 2, Jaguars 3, Texans 4.
I can't. My only disagree would be Titans, Colts, Texans, just because of the talent they have on offense, than to Jaguars. So
either way, neither one of them are making playoffs. Correct. And I think Titans and Colts both do.
Correct. But to our new segment that I wish I had a sound bite for.
We'll figure that out.
We're going to send it to Eddie for his fun fact of the day. All right, Eddie, what fun fact do you have for episode 35?
So I sent you a link. Don't open it just yet.
You sent me a link?
Yes. And it should be to a Google Sheet. But your number today is 18. It has nothing to do with the weeks of this season, but 18.
So we're going to do like I said last time. I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Then if I get wrong, then you give me a hint, and then I guess again, and then if I get it wrong, then...
Yes, because I want you to get it. It's more fun that way. 18.
Can I ask questions to get hints?
Sure. Why not?
Is this a player's number?
No.
Okay. 18. Is this the most points scored by a kicker in one game?
No, but that would be awesome.
I think someone has scored 18. Kicker
18 from a kicker?
Yeah.
What would that be? That'd be
6
field goals. Yeah,
I think they won
guarantee
the game,
that's happening.
Like 18 to 15 or something. 18.
I wouldn't doubt that at all, actually.
18.
But it does have to do with the most of something. I will say that.
The most sacks in a game by a team.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I feel like we've gotten close to that.
I feel like we would have had to.
Okay, that's wrong. I want my hint. Give me a hint.
It involves your Cowboys. That's not your hint. But I didn't go through and make hints like I said I was going to.
I don't like this.
Transaction.
The most trades in a season by one team?
Closer.
Most trades by... Most trade... I don't know. What's...
18 is the most amount of players and draft picks in a single trade.
In a single trade?
Yes.
Why don't they just trade the entire team at that point?
So, I'm going to say this, and it'll make a little bit more sense. 1988, 1990, the Colts and the Vikings traded Herschel Walker from the Colts to the Vikings.
This trade. I forgot about it.
Yes. The Cowboys sent Herschel Walker to the Vikings along with 4 picks and received 5 players and a lot of picks.
Can you send it to this computer so I can...
Yeah, 18 transactions in a single trade. And it technically is a 3-team trade.
I have to request access, Eddie.
Oh my gosh.
I can just look it up. Herschel Walker trade.
Oh, I got little notes on here though to make it easier.
NFL's largest trade.
Yeah. The fun part about that, which 18 in a single transaction is pretty interesting. Oh wait, I could have just sent you.
Does that say it's 10th round pick?
Yes, that was the other thing. I don't know when it stopped, but the draft used to have 12 rounds.
Oh my God, no!
12 rounds worth of picks.
We already
Granted, there was only like 25, 26 teams at this time.
Doesn't make it any better.
It's still 25 times 12 is 300 picks. It's a lot. But so one of those picks that the Vikings sent to the Cowboys, the first round 1990 pick, the Cowboys traded that to the Steelers for their pick. And with the 17th pick in the 1990 draft, the Cowboys selected Emmitt Smith.
That's right. We know how to draft. And then for a long time, we didn't. But we got back to it.
Then you forgot.
We got back to it, though.
Yeah. But 18 in a pick, that's a lot in a single transaction. But I thought the best part about all that is they ended up using one of those picks they got to end up drafting Emmitt Smith. So essentially they went from Herschel Walker to Emmitt Smith. And they traded away a couple of their other picks, ended up getting the number 1 overall pick in the 1991 draft, thanks to trading around a couple of these picks that they received, which they drafted Russell Maryland, defensive tackle, ended up being a bust.
Minnesota traded running back Darren Nelson to Dallas, which traded Nelson to San Diego for the Chargers' 5th-round choice in 1990, which Dallas then sent to Minnesota. What?
Yeah.
So
I was looking at it.
The pick went. Wait, hold on. So the player went to Dallas, which then sent the player to San Diego, which then took
Here, why don't
the
I just
pick
do this?
from San
and I'll see if I
Diego
can,
to Dallas, then to Minnesota. So technically, Minnesota and San Diego traded a pick and a player.
Yeah, it was weird. I started going down a rabbit hole looking at like what happened to all the picks, and I just gave up after going. I just did like the first layer, whether they kept it or traded it.
The Cowboys gave up Herschel Walker, a 3rd-round pick, a 10th-round pick, and another 3rd-round pick.
They traded away, or they got 8 picks.
Yeah,
traded
Minnesota
away 3.
traded to Dallas 4 players, along with a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 6th-round pick, a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
Yo, so many firsts and seconds. Yeah, we thought.
And then you start trying to figure out what happened to all those, because they ended up with they had to end up with 12 rounds plus these 3 extra. They probably had close to 10, if not 12 picks, if not more than that, which they ended up trading around a bunch of them. They had a lot of picks to spare.
We thought that the Rams like to get rid of 1st-round picks.
Vikings didn't care for a while.
Not the Vikings in 1989. They want to get rid of 1, 2, 3 1st-round picks and 3 2nd-round picks in 3 consecutive years.
Yeah.
It would be the Texans of this last draft.
I was about to say, they're the original Texans. The original Bill O'Brien. I'm just going to look this up just as a long shot. I swear to God, if Bill O'Brien was a part of Vikings in 1989.
Do you think he's that old?
I don't know.
How old is
Maybe his dad? I thought he was older than you think. He's 51. He could have been there.
I mean, we can just look at his
That's what I'm going to. No.
He started his coaching career in 1993.
Yeah.
He was actually playing for Brown University. No, it is Brown University. All right. They're called the Brown Bears, and I thought this was like a Chicago Bears thing, and I was like, what's happening? Is there like a AAA league now for the NFL?
I wish. They need some kind of feeder league. Maybe not AAA, but they need some kind of feeder league.
I mean, that's what the XFL and AFL and
supposed to be.
and other letter NFL. And so, yeah. I don't know.
So, let me do this. Go ahead.
But
I'm talking to myself.
We're at the end of this episode.
Yes.
For anyone watching on Twitch, we will be live next Wednesday. Our departure from Chicago, where our vacation is split. So Eddie will be traveling when we're supposed to record. Thanks, Eddie. I'm just kidding.
You're welcome.
So our episode will be recorded next Wednesday on August. Can't believe it's August. August 4th will be our next episode recording. Like I said, we're on Twitch at twitch.tv/meme streams 32 teams, 7 p.m. every time that we record. There will be a week. I think it's the week after the 4th, the 10th, and the 12th will be a double recording week. So keep a lookout for that. And on that note, we are going to jump out of here. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Meme Streams 32 Teams. And you can find us on Twitter at Memes 32 Teams. We appreciate you guys hanging out, listening, tuning in. If you're in the live stream, we appreciate you. If you're listening on any of the platforms, we appreciate you. And we will see you guys next week with another AFC division that I cannot think off the top of my head.
I didn't look it up.
I did not look at it like I should have, but We appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Have a good rest of your week. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Adios.